Mr. Kazmark, will you call the meeting to order, please?
Mayor, I'd like to call the regular meeting of the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Elmwood Park for December 2nd, 2010 to order. On roll call, council members Catamagna. Here. Castiglia.
Here.
Chawinski.
Here.
Bonsino.
Here.
Work. Here. Conboy.
Here.
Mayor Mola.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Will everyone please rise for our prayer and flag salute? O God, our Father, we ask you to bless our meeting with your trustee of fatherly care and protection. Please remove all selfishness and prejudice from our hearts and plant therein a keen sense of justice for you and our neighbor. Guide us in our deliberations so our decisions always please you and bring peace and happiness to our community. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Whereas Chapter 231 of the Public Laws of the State of New Jersey requires the commencement of each meeting a statement by the presiding officer, now therefore be advised the meeting requirements of this meeting have been met by publishing an annual notice in the Record of Hackensack, the Herald News of Woodland Park, and by posting such notice in the office of the Borough Clerk as well as in a public place within the municipal building and by notifying interested citizens. Said notice was posted on January 1, 2010. The meeting is being cable ready. On Tuesday, it'll appear on Tuesday at 12 noon, Thursday at 4 p.m., on Friday at 11 a.m. You can watch this program at that time. And also, if you want to watch it on the web, it's www.elmwoodparknj.us. www.elmwoodparknj.us. I make that announcement for the people who will be watching on television because we have a full house here at the council chambers this evening. We have one reporter and we have one pretty young lady sitting here. I hope she doesn't have any serious questions to ask, but we'll... Otherwise, it's just us chickens sitting up here. Mr. Kazmark, please.
Mayor, tonight we have on the agenda for the approval of minutes the regular meeting of November 4th, 2010, the executive session for November 4th, 2010, and the executive session for November 9th, 2010.
Motion, please, for all of them.
I'll make the motion.
Mr. Castiglia, second. And Mr. Bonsino. Any discussion?
Just November 9th, I don't think I was here for that meeting. I'm going to have to abstain on that.
Okay, an abstention for...
It's for me too.
9th, right? November 9th?
Okay. Call the roll, please.
Council members Catamagna.
Yes, except the November 9th.
Okay.
Castiglia.
Yes.
Chawinski.
Yes, except November 9th.
Bonsino.
Yes.
Work.
Yes.
Conboy.
Yes.
Motion carries. Mayor, this evening under ordinances, we have Resolution 293-10, introduce ordinance 10-19 on first reading. Be it resolved that an ordinance entitled an ordinance to fix the salary, wage, and compensation of the officers, employees, and servants of the Borough of Elmwood Park, County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, be passed and adopted on first reading. And be it resolved that on final hearing, said ordinance will be heard in the municipal building on Thursday, December 16th, 2010 at 8 p.m. or as soon thereafter as the same can be heard, at which time and place all persons interested in said ordinance can be heard concerning same. Be it further resolved that the Borough Council be and is hereby authorized to advertise in a legal newspaper a notice of introduction and final hearing as required by law.
Motion, please.
So moved.
Mr. Conboy, second.
Second.
Mr. Work, discussion? Call the roll, please.
On roll call, council members Catamagna.
I vote no on this one.
Castiglia.
Yes.
Chawinski.
Yes.
Bonsino.
Yes.
Work.
Yes.
Conboy.
Yes.
Motion carries. Resolution 294-10, introduce ordinance 10-20 on first reading. Be it resolved that an ordinance entitled an ordinance to amend and supplement Chapter 13, Rent Control of the Code of the Borough of Elmwood Park, County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, be passed and adopted on first reading, and be it resolved that final hearing on said ordinance will be heard in the municipal building on Thursday, December 16th, 2010, at 8 p.m. or as soon thereafter as the same can be heard, at which time and place all persons interested in said ordinance can be heard. Be it further resolved that the Borough Clerk be and is hereby authorized to advertise in a legal newspaper a notice of introduction and final hearing is required by law.
Motion, please.
So moved.
Mr. Conboy, second.
Second.
Mr. Bonsino, discussion? Call the roll, please.
On roll call, council members Catamagna.
No.
Castiglia.
Yes.
Chawinski.
Yes.
Bonsino.
Yes.
Work.
Yes.
Conboy.
Yes.
Motion carries. Resolution 295-10, introduce ordinance 10-21 on first reading. Be it resolved that an ordinance entitled an ordinance to amend chapter of the Borough of Elmwood Park titled Construction and Buildings, be resolved that the final hearing on said ordinance will be heard in the municipal building on Thursday, December 16th, 2010, at 8 p.m., or as soon as thereafter as the same can be heard, at which time and place all persons interested in said ordinance can be heard. Be it further resolved that the Borough Clerk be and is hereby authorized to advertise in a legal newspaper a notice of introduction and final hearing as required by law.
Motion, please.
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Castiglia. Second,
Finish reading it.
Second.
Mr. Chowinski. Discussion?
Yes, Mayor. I remember Mr. Truinsky and I worked very hard on this, and we saw the price they charge in Rochelle Park. And really, we had a fight to bring everything down. And because I guess according to the law, we must be equal.
Right, according to the
We
sheriff.
share services. And we worked so hard, and we were able to knock down some of the price. The price was very high, many, many things. And although they're still high. So anyhow,
Everything I know.
what do you do?
Thank you. Any other discussion? Call the roll, please.
Council members Catamagna,
Yes.
Castiglia,
Yes.
Chewinski,
Yes.
Bonsino,
Yes.
Work,
Yes.
Conboy.
Yes.
Motion carries. Mayor, tonight under the consent agenda resolutions, we have Resolution 296-10, payment of bills, Resolution 297-10, confirmation of checks, Resolution 298-10, confirmation of payroll, Resolution 299-10, emergency Chapter 159, click it or ticket grant in the amount of $4,000, Resolution 300-10, emergency Chapter 159, over the limit grant in the amount of $4,400, Resolution 301-10, Chapter 159, body armor replacement in the amount of $3,653.88, Resolution 302-10, emergency Chapter 159, alcohol ed rehab fund in the amount of $8,395, Resolution 303-10, emergency Chapter 159 for the H1N1 health grant, the amount of $37,547. Resolution 304-10, approve checks to be included as official check register. Resolution 305-10, refund interest tax for 26-54 Lily Arts Lane. Resolution 306-10, change order improvements to Molnar Drive, Section 1. Resolution 307-10, support over the limit under arrest 2010 year-end statewide crackdown. Resolution 308-10, approve handicap sign at 51 17th Avenue. Resolution 309-10, authorize correction of assessment for Jubowski. And Resolution 310-10, support arbitration reform with award caps.
Thank you. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Mr. Bonsino,
I second.
who seconded?
You can give it to Councilman Catamount.
Councilman Catamagna,
Yes.
seconded? Any discussion?
Yeah, if I may, Mayor, 306-10, if I can pull that from to non-consent?
Okay. Can we just put Mr. Chewinski for non-consent, for abstention?
Abstention on it.
On 310? Keith?
We're gonna read it separately, Mayor. So
Excuse me?
we're gonna read it separately. So all Councilman Bonsino and Councilman Caramagna have to do is amend their motion.
Okay, that's what they'll do. And call the roll on the resolutions, excluding 310.
On roll call for the consent agenda, council members Catamagna,
Yes.
Castiglia,
Yes.
Chewinski,
Yes.
Bonsino,
Yes.
Work,
Yes.
Conway.
Yes.
Resolution 306-10, be it resolved by the mayor and council of the Borough of Elmwood Park that the following change order number 1 and final is hereby approved. Contractor English Paving Company Incorporated, 650 Route 46 West, Clifton, New Jersey. Contract number EP 1158. Project is improvements to Molnar Drive, Section 1. Amount of original contract is $183,014.21. Change order number 1 and final is an increase of $1,252.11 for a final contract amount of $184,266.32.
Call the roll, please.
I need a motion, Mayor.
Motion, I'm sorry.
So moved.
Conboy, second.
Second.
Bonsino, discussion? Call the roll.
On roll call, council members Catamagna.
Yes.
Castiglia.
Yes.
Chewinski.
Abstain.
Bonsino.
Yes.
Work.
Yes.
Conboy.
Yes.
Motion carries. Resolution 311-10, be it resolved by the mayor and council of the Borough of Elmwood Park that the collector treasurer shall and is hereby authorized to make the following transfers as per instructions from the chief financial officer, as follows.
Motion, please.
So moved.
Mr. Conboy, second.
Second.
Mr. Chouwinski, discussion? Call the roll.
Councilmembers Catamania?
Yes.
Castiglia?
Yes.
Chouwinski?
Yes.
Alonsino?
Yes.
Work?
Yes.
Conboy.
Yes.
Motion carries. Resolution 312-10, whereas Pizza Town USA Corp. has filed tax appeals against the Borough of Elmwood Park for the years 2009 through 2010. And whereas the tax assessor and borough attorney have negotiated settlements of the tax appeals which are incorporated into the stipulations of settlements attached here too. And whereas the mayor and council believe that the settlement is in the best interest of the borough. Now therefore be it resolved by the mayor and council of the Borough of Elmwood Park, do hereby authorize the borough attorney and tax assessor to execute the stipulations of settlement attached here too.
Motion, please.
So moved.
Mr. Chouwinski, second by Mr. Boncino, discussion? Call the roll.
On roll call, Councilmembers Catamania?
Yes.
Castiglia?
Yes.
Chouwinski?
Yes.
Alonsino?
Yes.
Work? Yes. Conboy.
Yes.
Motion carries. Resolution 313-10, whereas the Borough of Elmwood Park maintains a water system serving properties located in the borough, and whereas an emergency has occurred whereby the sidewalk on the east side of Broadway, Route 4, collapsed and a leak was discovered in the borough-owned water main that runs along Broadway. And whereas, as a result of the water leak emergency, repairs are required so as to protect the health and safety of the borough residents and protect property within the borough from possible contamination or damage. And whereas an estimate for the work was received from J.F. Kramer and Son, the borough's emergency contractor, in the amount not to exceed $15,000. And whereas the estimate for the work was reviewed by the borough engineer and has been determined that the estimate is reasonable and given the scope of the required repair, and the vendor has the experience and expertise necessary to effectuate the required repair. And whereas the borough attorney has rendered an opinion that the given significant risk posed to person and property, the quote in the amount of $14,161.34 for the making of emergency repairs, as the same would represent an exception to the local public contracts law. And whereas the borough, based on the opinion of the borough attorney, has concluded that the award of a purchase order to the vendor would not be subject to the local public contracts law as being specifically exempt from pursuant to NJSA 40A:11. Now therefore be it resolved by the mayor and council of the Borough of Elmwood Park that it does agree that an emergency situation does exist, and therefore the emergency award of a purchase order to contract to J.F. Kramer and Son in accordance with NJSA 40A:11-6, subject to the certification of funds for such a purchase order exists.
Call, motion, please. Mr. Boncino, second. Mr. Work.
Larry. You don't
I
mind?
saw you leaning over, so I anticipated. Any discussion? Could you read that over again, Mr.? Call the roll, please.
It's big bucks.
Maybe you saw this work being done. It was on the corner of East 55th Street, and it was right, almost on the highway there.
Yeah, I know where it is.
And they did it in a hurry, and fortunately, we didn't have much of a problem. Call the roll, please.
Councilmembers Catamania?
Yes.
Castiglia?
Yes.
Chouwinski?
Yes.
Alonsino?
Yes.
Work?
Yes.
Conboy.
Yes.
Motion carries. Resolution 314-10, be it resolved that whereas the Borough of Elmwood Park recently authorized a shared service agreement with the Township of Rochelle Park in connection with the positions of construction official, building subcode official, and zoning officer. And whereas a review of the shared services agreement by the Department of Community Affairs has resulted in a determination by that agency that the agreement must be for a 4-year term. And whereas, in addition to the foregoing, the Department of Community Affairs has indicated that the fees governed by the agreement must be identical between the two municipalities. And whereas the mayor and council has determined that it would be in the best interest of the municipality to authorize an amendment to the agreement to reflect these changes. Now therefore be it resolved by the mayor and council of the Borough of Elmwood Park, County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, that the shared services agreement between the Borough of Elmwood Park and the Township of Rochelle Park shall be amended in accordance with the direction from the Department of Community Affairs as set forth above.
Motion, please.
So moved.
Mr. Conboy, second.
Second.
Mr. Boncino, discussion?
Yes, Mayor. Is this a law that we must agree 4 years? We have to be,
You could
we have
withdraw
to
it.
sign 4 years agreement with this? Or
I
can we
underst-
do it just year by year?
I understand that is a state stipulation, and in this document, it should indicate that we can get rid of the person who holds that position at any time for whatever reason we feel
Yeah, for any cause, you could
necessary.
still get rid of them, right?
Is it true? Yeah.
Sure.
But if I may, Mayor.
Yes, sure.
The state requires a 4-year contract, as Keith and I attended the convention this year. On our dime, I might mention too, we paid our own way. There were some pretty important courses, and one of them was the shared services. And we seem to be out in the forefront with this because we're one of the few towns that are starting shared services. But they did address this issue with, even if you do combined police forces and stuff, they're going to require 4-year contracts.
They're going to require, but they don't require now.
Right now they do, yeah.
They do?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
However, if there's any reason we
Any
want to
just cause,
dismiss
you could still, it's not like you just can't get
I think once you sign a contract, to me, it's a contract, you know what happens at the end.
We have contracts with everybody for years.
Very difficult to break them.
3 years. It is difficult, yes, I agree with you.
Yeah.
Call the roll, please.
On roll call, council members Catamania,
I have to vote no. Thank you.
Castiglia,
Yes.
Drowinski,
Yes.
Alonsino,
Yes.
Work,
Yes.
Convo.
Yes.
Motion carries. Mayor, this evening we have departmental reports from the municipal court and the recreation department.
Motion to receive and file, please.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Castiglia, second by Mr. Conboy. Discussion, all in favor, opposed, so ordered.
And we have applications for the Junior Baseball League 50/50 raffle and the Junior Baseball League raffle.
Motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Vancino, and I think it was Conboy. Any discussion? Call the roll. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So ordered. Committee reports, which end we starting?
Whatever you want. I can start if you want.
Yeah, go ahead.
Mr. Caramagna?
Mine's a short.
First of all, I'd like to say thank you to those of you who attend the funeral home when my father-in-law passed away. Thank you very much for your respect. School is more exciting than ever. A lot of things going on in school. As I mentioned before, Mr. Tomko was more visible. Maybe it's the beginning, but really, I think he's doing a great job. He goes to schools, each one of them, and he comes to our high school many times, and I think it's good. That's why we know who the superintendent is this time. Anyhow, 2 weeks ago, there was American Education Week. About over 300 parents participated in school. That's a good sign.
Yes.
Because in the past, you don't see that many parents. And I understand the Elks Club donated a dictionary to what, 3rd grade? I don't remember which it was.
I don't know. Is that right?
Yeah, that's what I have written down. Okay, then also the 17th Avenue School, they celebrate Veterans Day.
16.
School
16th.
School 16,
Yeah.
is it 16 that?
Yeah.
I said 17, what the
That's
heck?
right, no.
Thank you for the correction. In the month of November, the middle school science department received $750 grant from ExxonMobil Education Alliance program. 2,400 schools applied for, only 100 received the grants. Also, in the middle school, November 19th, the American History class went to a trip to Washington, D.C. At the high school, November 12th, there was Career Day. Over 30 representatives attended. So things are getting better in school. I like what's going on. And I don't know how long I'm going to be there, but
He's been retired.
but I like it. I like what's going on. And then I reserve another comment for sometime. Next time, is I want to say something, but this time I won't say it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chewinski?
Yes, Mayor, thank you. First, I'd like to say yesterday was Hanukkah. All those out there who pertains to a happy Hanukkah. I did miss the insurance meeting. I was away for the JIF meeting, but I do have the claims report here, which I'll leave on file with the clerk. In the end of November, there was an emergency meeting at the county, or actually the beginning of November. And there was another one just last night for anybody who's aware of what's going on at the county. There'll be a change of party in the county coming up in the first of the year. And needless to say, last night they made 19 appointments. If you read the Bergen Record today, some of these were always unfilled positions that they didn't have to be filled. And among other things, there was across-the-board spending. For example, I'll leave this on with the clerk again. Turkle Golf, Inc. provide construction and renovation to Orchard Hills Golf Course golf office parks. $1,473,000. That's just a few of them, among engineering reviews that are in here for $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 to particular firms. A couple of the new freeholders did plead their case that should be put off till the new regime comes in, but needless to say, Mr. Carroll said government must move on, and it did. And lastly, I'd like to talk about the shared services meeting we did attend with Keith and I attended at the convention. It was very educational. There seems to be a forefront man now down at Rutgers, one of the professors, who's fielding a lot of questions, even how it interrelates with the civil service, what we can and can't do. And that's about it, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Castiglia?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Real short report tonight. We had a few applications at the planning board work meeting. Now, these applications are in the process. They haven't been approved yet. Page Company is coming in to, well, they're applying to come into over on Paul Connor Place. They're going to be making corrugated boxes. Two of more interest in that, though, is the bakery I was talking about previously, over by Angelo's, next to Angelo's Pizza on Market Street. He's not taking it over as a bakery. It's still going to be a bakery. They're going to be, somebody else is going to be coming in now, a different baker. He was going to take it originally, but I guess he's got too much work. So somebody else is coming in to be the baker there, but it is going to open up as a bakery. On Route 46, we had a wine lounge apply, I guess a couple of months ago, and then he withdrew his application. It was on Route 46 West near the Boulevard. Now, he's reapplied for a building further down, further west, down around by the Dunkin' Donuts. Okay? It's going to be a wine lounge. He's going to have light food. It sounds like an interesting operation, so watch for that to be opening up, and that's about it.
Thank you. Mr. Work?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Yeah, once again, the Elmwood Park Health Department is still continuing offering the free adult health clinic to the residents of Elmwood Park. And the next clinic or date that the clinic will be held will be on December 21st. That's a Tuesday morning from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. at the private clinic room in the municipal building. The Elmwood Park Health Department is also holding a Family Health Day on December 6th from 4 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. And this Family Health Day clinic includes availability of 4 vaccines that Elmwood Park Health Department has available at no charge, the flu vaccine for a small charge, and also registration for the new for residents for the New Jersey Family Care Plan. And excuse me. Also, I've been mentioning the Elmwood Park Health Department has been enrolled as a provider of the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act program, which allows us to offer these 4 vaccines to any resident or citizen at no charge. And just recently, the Elmwood Park Health Department won an award for Outstanding American Recovery and Reinvestment Act Award from the New Jersey Department of Health and Senior Services. And this is for demonstrating 100% compliance and participation and collaboration with the New Jersey Vaccines for Children's program and for the Centers for the Disease Control and Prevention. And that was awarded to them on November 10th. And just to let you know why it's important to apply for these applications, the total grants that the Elmwood Park Health Department has been awarded this year totals over $88,000. So it's a tremendous effort on their part. And also concerning the Elmwood Park Homeowners Association, the next meeting will be held December 15th. That'll be 7:30 p.m. I believe it's going to be held in the all-purpose room. And I also wanted to announce they did have a new election for new officers. And their new officers are President is George Luke, the Vice President Laura Cole, Secretary Susan Hines, Second Secretary Sandy Ballestieri, and Treasurer Jean Della Vecchia. And that's it. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you, Mr. Work. Mr. Conboy?
Thank you, Mayor. Just want to share with folks in the audience and as well those who will catch us on TV and on the internet. Next Thursday, December 9th, beginning at 6 p.m. will be our annual tree lighting over by Borough Field by the corner of the Boulevard and Market Street, right behind the tank. There'll be the annual tree lighting and festivities, and of course a visit from Santa Claus and a lot of great fun for the children. Festivities are scheduled to start at 6 with the official tree lighting starting at 6:30. So those who would like to come out and have a little fun, some hot chocolate and see Santa early, come on down next Thursday beginning at 6 p.m. I'd just like to also comment, This mayor and council has continued to work very diligently and very cautiously on our upcoming budget. It seems like every day now you're hearing more and more communities, municipalities, or cities throughout the state struggling with many difficult decisions to get under the 2% hard cap. We have been working very hard over the last couple of weeks, and I want to commend everyone's hard work and quick, diligent work to get all the components together to our different professionals that need to lay those pieces into our budget so that we can continue moving forward. So this council and this mayor and council will continue to work diligently and very cautiously and carefully as we move forward. So I just want to let everyone know that that is a continuing, ongoing process, and in the weeks to come, we will have more pieces to discuss as we move forward. That's it, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Fontino?
Yes, Mayor. A couple of police items from the community news this week. Officers apprehended a motorcyclist traveling at speeds in excess of 100 miles per hour through the borough.
Which street?
Route 46.
Route 46.
Yes.
We've had some serious accidents there with motorcycles.
Fatalities,
excuse me.
Yeah.
He eluded police for a while, but they tracked him down. He was a Garfield resident charged with 27 different traffic summonses and criminal counts, including aggravated assault and resisting arrest and DWI. Also in this week's paper...
excuse me, DWI on the motorcycle.
It was good.
Going 100.
I can't explain it. Also this week, a New York City police officer was arrested for attempting to purchase a large quantity of narcotics to ultimately distribute to gangs in the New York tri-state area. And our own Alex Echeverria, who I mentioned, I believe, last meeting, supports the Immigration and Customs Enforcement, worked with NYPD to investigate and ultimately take part in the arrest. So thank you, Alex. And more recently, yesterday, early morning, around 3 a.m., officers responded to an alarm at the Valero station on Market Street. They found broken glass on a window, and they heard somebody walking about inside. They secured the scene and waited for the response of the K-9 unit from Bergen County. The suspect resisted arrest and sustained a dog bite. And he's a Elmwood Park resident. He's charged with burglary, aggravated assault on a police officer, and criminal mischief. So congratulations to our police officers for their hard work. And a final note on police and crime statistics. Earlier in the month, at the beginning of the month, the Record had an article on crime, and it showed data from the Unified Crime Report, 2008 to 2009, a drop in crime of approximately 9% across the state of New Jersey. Locally, Chief Ingrassalino gives us a monthly report, and this past month, looking at year-to-date through October 2010, we responded to 32,905 calls as compared to 32,909 calls in 2009. So statistically, pretty level in terms of the amount of incidents that occur in the borough. There's been a slight shift towards DWI and robbery. This probably correlates to the downturn in the economy and the current economic climate. But why I'm telling you this is our police department uses this data to look at their resources and allocate the assets appropriately to combat any of these negative trends. So I just want to commend them on their hard work again. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Rosino. Mr. Giblin has no report. For my report, I haven't been able to give this information to the council until now. You've all been aware that on Main Street there's been a building that was under the guidance of Department of Environmental Protection because of various contaminations on that site. I received word that I guess as of now, I rode by today, they now have a sign up. They're going to be tearing the building down, and then they will do whatever they have to do to alleviate the contamination that's there. Don't get your hopes up too high about getting rid of the contamination and selling the building. It's going to be still a couple more years. It's been 3 or 4 years now, maybe more, before anything's done with that building. But by the time they finish it, they will be able to sell it, and I guess the money that they get will be used for the, offset the cost of getting rid of the contamination. It was mentioned last week about Molnar Drive, and we have something on today. We put in an application for the state grant to finish Molnar Drive, repave it, and any money left over, we're applying to go back and complete part of the boulevard. So that will be on next year's agenda. We had something on the consent calendar that we approved today. I just want to read a couple parts of it. It's a resolution by the council pertaining to binding arbitration. Whereas, just a couple whereases. Whereas attention to the binding interest arbitration mandate should be at the top of the state priorities for meaning property tax relief. And whereas having approved an inflexible 2% cap, that's the governor, on the property tax levy, state policymakers need to recognize that any arbitration awards with a total economic impact of more than 2% will force cuts elsewhere in the local budget, and to find increased public safety compensation in excess of 2% cap, municipalities will have to cut services, salaries, or other personnel in order to other departments, or reduce the number of uniformed police officers. So this council is requesting the governor to do something about the binding arbitration so that we don't have more than the 2% arbitration award while every other department is going to be reduced. In fact, Mr. Kazmark, what was it, 15 people in the last 3 years have left the borough employment, and we haven't replaced them. So we're basically down to bare bones, and if an arbitrator comes in and awards something greater than that, which I don't think he can, but we have to get that in the law, we're going to have to cut other departments to reach that number. And I just want to indicate to the public that I brought in a newspaper article in which I was quoting that the person who's most powerful in this community and other communities in Bergen County is the arbitrator, because the arbitrator gives the police a 4%. We're paying the police a 3.95% increase on the last contract, and that's because of binding arbitration. Now, I made that statement in 1980. We still have binding arbitration, and he's still giving out 4% raises. And the salaries are well over $125,000 for most of the officers. So we have to look at that. It's not an anti-police thing. It's a pro keeping the taxes down and keeping other services up within the borough. And I also want to indicate, Mr. Boncino brought it up about the K-9 unit in the county. I don't want to go back in history, but I did run for freeholder. I was a freeholder 6 years ago, and one of the items that they used against me voluminously was about the kennels and the dogs, because I was in favor of having, now, mind you, having heat and air conditioning in the kennels for dogs. Well, as you indicated, they still have the K-9 unit for the sheriff's offices and the police department. And I hope, dear God, that they're giving them heat now and they give them air conditioning in the summertime. So it's just an indication of when you're running for office, little items can be changed and distorted so that it appears that it's much worse than it is.
We know that.
Thank you. Other than that, I'd like to open it to the public. If there's anyone in the audience who wishes to be heard, please come to the microphone and give us your name and address. Mr. Schwinn?
Things first.
I like what you just said, Mayor. Is there anyone in the audience? I thought I was the only one here.
Basically.
Bill Schwinn, 26 Beach Avenue, Beach Street.
There's an echo in here.
First of all, Tom and Larry, congratulations.
I
think this went out. I didn't hear what you said. It just said what do you call those things? It just died on me. So
What did I say?
I didn't hear what you said.
What I said was thank you for all the compliments you've just given me and the council and our attorney and our clerk. We appreciate all that. No, I'm just joking.
Okay.
What I did was I repeated your address because you're on Beach Street. I'm on Beechwood, and we have the same number of the house, so I remember your number.
You're right. I get your mail all the time. I open it up and I take a look at it, and I haven't found anything bad about it, though. You know, I saw some checks in there the other week. I said, boy, these are big ones.
Yeah. If you get any bills, will you pay them for me?
Congratulations, Tom and Larry, for your victory last November. I haven't been able to attend any council meeting, but I guess it's late is better than never. So congratulations. Secondly, you mentioned something about the streets in town, and boy, I'll tell you one thing. We made some real improvements. I really don't have to worry about Molnar Drive anymore when I go up to Buster Springs in my car. Boy, I'll tell you, it's a pleasure. And there's other streets, too, that are here that have been paved, that I ride on a lot. It's really nice. But thirdly, I want to bring something up that maybe there's not a solution, but I'll bring it up anyway, because we got 6 smart councilmen and 1 smart mayor. Maybe they can figure this thing out. Every year, we have so many trees in this town. You got leaves all over the place. I mean, a lot of leaves. Now, we did a job over here on Beach Street. We cut some of those big trees down, so I didn't have to rake the leaves in my backyard anymore. And incidentally, I don't have a tree in my yard, but I've been raking leaves for years. The people in the public works come through with their truck and they pick the leaves up. And after that's all done, the sweeper comes through and he cleans up whatever else is left there. That's the real solution, but it doesn't happen. And the reason it doesn't happen is because cars are parked all over the place. They can never do a half-decent job no matter how hard they try. Now, it would be very simple if there were no cars on any of the streets in town. They would roll through there, and boy, the place would look great. My question is this a possibility? Now, I know in the big cities they seem to have signs up that say no parking on Tuesday or Monday or whatever it is because whatever they have to do. But is there any kind of a possibility in this town for something like that? The reason these guys that pick the leaves up can't do a thorough job. They pick the leaves up. That's what they're supposed to do. But without that sweeper coming through, that place doesn't look too great. And I don't think you could give me an answer, but I put it before you fellas anyway. You might give that a good thought. Somehow, we could keep these streets, the cars off the street at a certain time so the sweeper can get through, and so these other guys, when they pick up the leaves, can get through. And it's something that I thought about all the time. I clean my own gutters, so I don't care.
We could address that problem. There may be something coming up next year where the state is requiring that the leaves be placed in bags. So we'll see how that's going. If we're required to do that, the people are going to have to purchase, what do you call it, paper bags that are recyclable, and they'll have to put them in the bags. I know some other communities are already doing that.
Yeah, I know that.
So that
yeah.
may solve that problem, but we'll check into that.
Well, I do my own, gutters, but not everybody does that. Nobody else, a couple of other people do it. But it is a mess. There's no question about it because the guys can't do their job. They're unable to do it.
Thank you.
It would be a good thing to take a look at it. You might be able to do something, I don't know.
Okay.
It'll be a rough thing.
Well, Mayor,
Yeah.
on Gilbert Avenue, there's a sign by my house. Say Wednesdays, don't park between 9 to 11.
Yeah, we had that.
They don't have this on Beach Street?
Yeah, that's what you got to start.
No, but that, if you remember, that was an isolated area.
Right.
We
Yeah,
we
it's
did it
just
for the residents on that street
Did it work?
because aside from the people with their cars, if I'm not mistaken, I didn't mean to jump in. Larry, did you want to answer? I'm sorry. Aside from the
It was a
residents,
special situation
It was also
because of the
the
schools
teachers.
being there and teachers parking there, and the homeowners putting their leaves in the street and then cars parking on them, and they would stay there all day, and of course the truck would pass
Good
and
job.
wouldn't be able to pick up the
I
leaves.
see the sign.
No, so we
One
put up
right by my house.
special signs just for that area,
Yeah.
emergency, no
Okay.
parking. Certain times on Wednesday, and the truck makes sure it comes through during that time. and the leaves are taken care of, but to
they
do
do a good
it
job,
all over
yeah.
town, I don't,
That was something we did special for you, Frank.
that was a special thing for you,
That was
Frank.
Thank you, Aaron. Thank you very much.
Republicans helping out
Somebody likes me.
Democrats.
And just, Frank, I knew your father-in-law pretty well,
Thank you.
and I didn't get over to see him. I don't even know where he was laid out. I didn't see it in the paper, I didn't know a thing about it until you said it a little while ago. But I knew your father pretty well, we did a lot of talking. And I express my condolences now.
Thank you.
Might be a little bit late. One other thing. The corner of Market Street and the Boulevard, there's a tank over there. Do we know what the place is?
Can I interrupt
It's
you?
not really a tank.
That Army vehicle, it's like a tank, is going to have to be moved because we're going to widen that intersection.
There we go, Mayor, that was my question. They're going to widen it already?
You can stay home next week because I know what you're going to ask next week.
Or are they going to, they're getting ready to do something down there? Because
Yes.
it's been a long, long time.
We have some legal problems with some of the easements that we're trying to get there, but that will be taken care of shortly, I hope. And we may even have to talk to the county about paving Market Street because they're supposed to pave Market Street and no use paving Market Street and have that intersection.
Yeah, right,
So we're
right.
looking into that also.
Okay, that answered my question.
Thank you.
And then we put the clock up, right?
And then we'll put the
Sure.
clock up and we'll find out what time it is. Is there anyone else who wishes to be heard?
By that time,
Will everybody in the audience please stay seated, all three of you? Thank you. For those of you who may have tuned in after the meeting started, the council meeting is on cable television, Channel 77, Tuesday at noon, Thursday at 4 p.m., Friday at 11 a.m., or you can view that on our web, www.elmwoodparknj.us. May I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved?
Moved by Mr. Conboy. Second by Mr. Work. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? So ordered. And thank the two of you for coming. We appreciate it very much. Three. He's getting paid to come.
Getting paid.
No, he's not. Thank you.
If you want this GIF report, you got a copy.